आज शुक्राना गुरुजी महाराज मल्टीलिंगुअल ग्रुप संगत जी आज गुरुजी महाराज की कृपा से हम रीडिंग करने वाले हैं मल्टीलिंगुअल सेवादार टीम आप सबका स्वागत करती है Today is the fourth reading session from the divine book Guruji Life of Spirit and Spiritualism. Now, on behalf of Multilingual Sevadar team, Rosy Sandhu Aunty Guruji's old Sangat is invited to manage today's reading session. I request you to unmute yourself, Rosy Aunty. Jai Guruji.
Jai Guruji.
Jai Guruji Aunty.
Jai
Aunty,
Guruji.
the
Jai
reading
Guruji.
session is over to you. Jai Guruji Maharaj.
Jai Guruji. Thank you, Dr. Pooja Chopra. And Jai Guruji, पल पल शुक्राना गुरुजी हमें अपनी शरण में लेने के लिए शुक्राना गुरुजी for filling our lives with your blessings and your magic. Thank you for giving us such a beautiful Guru Parivar where you feel instant bonding, a bond of love, comfort, safety that creates an oasis within this chaotic world. जब भी हम किसी गुरु भक्त को मिलते हैं तो ऐसा महसूस ही नहीं होता कि पहली बारी मिल रहे हैं. So we have met today on this sunny morning because of a very special book. हम सब जानते हैं हम यहाँ एक divine book Guruji Spirit Life and Spirituality के बारे में बात करने के लिए मिले हैं. A book about Guruji's life and spirituality that he embodied. The book has been written by one of his Param Bhakts, and I can easily say one of his favorite disciples, ROUL Uncle. ROUL, as Guruji would lovingly call him. ROUL Uncle is an accomplished and distinguished person. He is an exceptional author and an IS officer. As an IS officer, he excelled in every field that he went. Prime Minister's Award for Excellence is a testimonial for that. Yet he's so humble and shant when you meet him. It's such an honor to meet him, as if you can see Guruji's blessings in his aura. These same qualities are evident in his entire family, his wife Urvashi and daughter Ditsa, whom I'm sure you have come to know well over these past few sessions. So for the lack of any other appropriate word, I would just say simply thanks to ROUL Uncle for this beautiful work, clearly written from his heart, with so much of love. It is evident in each and every line. जब आप ये किताब पढ़ते हैं तो उसके एक एक शब्द से ये ROUL Uncle का प्रेम, उनका भाव और उनकी रेवरेंस उसके हर शब्द से ऐसे झलकती है, आपको उसमें बहुत एविडेंट है. It gives a glimpse of spiritual journey, making us feel so much closer to Guruji. This also tells us so much about Guruji's early life before Guruji came to be known as Guruji to the world. This book will undoubtedly play a vital role for the future generations. What I really like about this book is also the way it tells us the history of the places. When he describes the places in this book, there is a little bit of history. There is not only the history, the background, and it also tells us about the spiritual legacy of Punjab. We all have known, I've been born and brought up in Chandigarh, but still the spiritual legacy that even I didn't know, and thank you so much for that. And you know, this is another very beautiful aspect. And it tells us the heritage, how Guruji became Guruji, and then he came into our lives. And those who have this, as I said, this book will undoubtedly go down as can easily become a scripture, where especially when all the Sangat who had the privilege of meeting him in his physical form, they pass on, and you know, and the later Sangat when they join, they will come to know as a Guruji from the eyes of ROUL Uncle, very loving eyes, and they'll come to know him better. And this legacy can be passed on to the new followers who will be joining us as the time goes by. Not wanting to keep you away from dwelling deeper into the Guruji's life and journey, I would like to introduce you to the two readers who will be sharing from their experience along with the readings from this book. Correct me if I'm wrong. Nibedita Sahu Aunty, you will be continuing first. Okay, so in this book reading analysis, session 4, part 2, first reader and Hanji?
SHILPA SAHU will do first.
All right. Okay, so then we'll say, so the first reader and analyst will be Shilpa Sahu KAUSHAL, who came under Guruji's Sharan when she was in school and Guruji was in Panchkula. Shilpa is a graduate in economics honors from the Delhi University and an MBA. She has worked in the corporate sector for several years. Presently, she is the executive director in a non-profit skill development institute. Guruji would often call her Story. What a loving name. He would also call him Story because this was the name given to her by Mami Ji, that is Lieutenant General Mohan Singh's wife. As she would insist, she would sit besides Mami Ji and insist every evening to tell her the story or to narrate the story that is told in the Shabads or the Vyakhya of the Shabads. So what a lovely name, Story. So after this, the session will be carried forward by Dr. Nibedita Sahu. Dr. Nibedita Sahu had her initial darshan of Guruji when he was in Panchkula. Guruji used to call her Masi. Dr. Nibedita, a doctorate in education, has varied educational attainments. She did BSc honors in zoology, MSc in anthropology, master's and PhD in education. She has a stint in teaching, followed by independent project consultancy in NGOs for nearly 10 years. She says she and her family have been blessed by Guruji immensely. I'm sure most of us feel that, but with that feeling in heart, nothing can go wrong in life. You know, life is a blessing by itself. So the session will be continued by the two interventionalists, Dr. Kamini Tandon Aunty, and the writer himself, CHHABILENDRA ROUL Uncle. Dr. Kamini Tandon is a graduate in economics honors from the Hansraj College, University of Delhi. She completed her master's in business administration and LLB and worked in the financial sector for a span of 6 years, after which she entered academia and pursued her PhD in finance. Thereafter, she joined her husband in his law firm in Delhi. And we all know the writer, Dr. Chibilendra Rahul. I cannot say anything more about him. So now over to you for the reading, Shilpa. And thank you. Thank you.
Jai Guruji. Om Namah Shivaya Sangat Ji. I bow in gratitude to our beloved Guruji, whose presence is the greatest teaching and blessing in our lives. Every day in his presence, in the presence of our Guruji has been a celebration. From the time we first started with his darshan. Thank you, Dr. Pooja Chopra Aunty. Vasan Uncle is not here today, I think, and ROSY SANDHU Aunty, and Guruji's beloved Sangat, who are here today listening to the 4th session of the book reading and analysis of the book, Guruji, Life and Spiritualism, by Dr. CHHABILENDRA ROUL, Masaji. Sangat ji, today we are gathered here to reflect on the wisdom that is shared. It's a truly sacred book. And it brings us closer to the divine life and teachings of our Guruji, our beloved Guruji. Every word in this book carries a fragrance of Guruji's presence. It takes us back to the time when Guruji was physically holding Sangat, satsangs, and we used to go to his temple since the time we were little kids. So this is my first satsang in the form of book reading cum analysis. And it is not just a satsang in the usual sense. It's a satsang in the form of book reading and analysis. And we present our version also along with the author's version. So pardon me also, Sangat ji. I sincerely hope to do justice to the thorough research and deep devotion and the months of dedication that the author has invested in compiling this blessed book. And with folded hands and a humble heart, I pray that Guruji guides me through every word that I share today. May he bless us and with me with this moment of clarity and devotion, and forgive me for all the mistakes if I make any unknowingly during this book reading, come analysis satsang. It's a true privilege for us to read and contemplate and absorb the light of Guruji through the words in the book. So Sangaji, let's start the book, reading from page 30 of the book, Guruji, Life and Spiritualism. And then I'll attempt to summarize the essence. So when Guruji cured somebody of any serious disease, he used to get some kind of pain or suffer an impact on his physical body. Most of the time, such an impact was felt by Guruji internally. So it is like taking the pain himself to cure another person of his suffering. It has been corroborated by many devotees through their satsangs. Guruji used to have periods of isolation from Sangat so that he could recoup. Perhaps that was one of the reasons for which Guruji used to change base to different locations without furnishing the details of the next destination. So there may be other reasons also, that could be reaching out to the vast mass of suffering individuals at various locations. The ever increasing suffering devotees would reach the new abode within no time to have his darshan and request him to cure them. And their near and dear ones solve their professional and personal problems. Yogis have no permanent place of residence, as the world is their abode. And quoting from the book, Guruji used to say that very few come to a Mahapurush for the real thing, spiritual seeking. So Guruji would bless the Sangat who came for his darshan, no matter what stage of the spiritual journey they were at, whether they were seeking blessings, peace, cure, or just answers to something in life. He would say that his purpose of coming to this world was to shower blessings, and through that, nudge the Sangat gradually towards the spiritual path. People come to Guru or a Mahapurush, that used to say Mahapurush, for many reasons. And to quote some, could be they want relief from some suffering, health, wealth, relationship issues, peace of mind, answers to problems, mystical experiences that they want to experience. So while these desires are understandable, they're all temporary and somewhat self-centered. But the real thing that Guruji used to say, it's the Guru's true gift. It's something much deeper. And the real thing demands your everything. So
Sangat ji, please stay connected. I think their internet has dropped. Jai Guruji, just stay connected, please.
Jai Guruji, am I audible, Aunty? I think we got disconnected somehow.
Yes, Aunty, you're audible. You're audible. Yes, yes.
So Guruji knows who has come for blessings, and out of compassion, Mahapurush blesses everyone. And he would meet you where you are, but silently wait for that rare soul. In the first chapter of the book, The Beautiful Journey, we have time traveled through beautifully narrated time in the first 3 book reading sessions, come analysis sessions, through the time in his village, Dugri, Malerkotla, Greater Kailash in Delhi, Defense Colony in Jalandhar. And we move to page 30. We are on actually page 30. So Panchkula is located on the banks of Ghaggar. Several historians identify Ghaggar as with the Vedic Saraswati River. Again, how he chose certain locations, certain places where he would have his satsangs. Am I audible, Aunty? I think there is some issue with the network.
Aunty, you're absolutely audible. In between, it got dropped, but it's fine now. Jai Guruji.
Okay. Jai Guruji, Aunty. So reading from the last paragraph of page 30. After staying in Jalandhar Mandir for a couple of months, one fine morning in 1996, Guruji left for an unknown destination, unknown to the Sangat of Jalandhar and Punjab. It was the private residence of Lieutenant General Ahuja and Dr. Savitri Ahuja. He shifted his base to Panchkula. After a couple of weeks post-moving, he permitted selective Sangat to be allowed his darshan. And then after a few months of darshan, it was open to all. It was the same institutionalized holding of Sangat, like it was in Jalandhar Mandir. A few were allowed during the daytime. This is where we had the blessed first darshan of Guruji. And it was here in Panchkula that the soulful bhajan, Om Namah Shivaya, which was sang in the praise of Lord Shiva, was composed. And it was shared by the author that Guruji himself guided the singer to note the lyrics of this beautiful bhajan, which is a gentle invitation into our hearts of Shivji's meditation. The singer was Dolly Guleria Aunty. She is the daughter of a famous folk singer, Surinder Kaur, who is also known as the Lata Mangeshkar of Punjab. She infuses her voice with reverence and calm, capturing the mantra's meditative essence while drawing from her folk and Sufi roots. Before moving further, it's one of my favorite bhajans. I would like to read a few lines from the bhajan. I would not sing, but read. And it says, it reads, Om Namah Shivaya. समय का एक तारा जब बोले, जल थल नभ में मधुरस घोले. Om Namah Shivaya. And the last stanza reads, कर्म ही सच्चा ज्ञान योग है, कर्म ही कर जीवन में, कर ले कर्म की उत्तम खेती दुनिया के उपवन में, दया कर्म का बीज तो बोले. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. And it was after the stay in Panchkula, it was time for Guruji to shift the base and handing over to Dr. Nibedita SAHU.
कोटि कोटि प्रणाम to Guruji and प्यार भरा नमस्कार to all Sangat. Anantam Sukrana Guruji for giving me this opportunity to read the book Guruji Life and Spiritualism by Dr. CHHABILENDRA ROUL. I must say that the author has brought out a lot of insights into the spiritual learnings. It clearly demonstrates that our Guruji is omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent. He is the embodiment of bliss. He comes out of causeless mercy to bless the Sangat. Guruji is very kind and merciful to all, but pure devotees are very, very dear to him. For our first darshan, my sister ROSY and brother-in-law Chabi took us to Litanjalrar, Ahuja's house in Panchkula, where Guruji was residing in 1996. We didn't have any knowledge about Guru ever in our life earlier. We were firm devotees of Lord Shiva and Lord Krishna. My first interaction with Guruji was back in 1996. As I remember clearly, it was very loving and caring. He asked us to come the next day at a certain time. But we reached a little late. Guruji expressed his displeasure, but in an affectionate manner. That was the first lesson for me for adhering to strict discipline. What he used to like that. The city of gardens in the foothills of Sivali. The grey walls of Mandi Govindgarh and their extended family were honest followers of Guru. And with request from grey walls, Guruji shifted from Panchkula to Chandigarh in the early days of 1997. The usual system of holding Sangat continued for nearly a year. Guruji blessed scores of devotees and non-devotees and held a couple of big functions like Baisakhi and Guru Purab. The prominent Sangat who used to have many civil servants, politicians, armies, doctors, and there was a constant flow of the rest of and other parts of the country. Guruji used to have most of the Sangat dispersed by 11:30 p.m., after which only a handful would remain. They had the privilege of having little discussion with Guruji. Sometimes he would order a second or third round of chai prasad and paratha for the limited Sangat left at that time. Most of the days, it would go until past midnight. Some days, he would take the Sangat to Shukna Lake at around 3:30 to 4 a.m. in the morning. The peacocks in the nearby Kansal forest would sing their praise for Guruji in unison. It was a really divine feeling. Guruji would take a walk on the bond road where only a few could match his speed and steps. It was really difficult to match his steps. Even after walking on the road, the sole of his shoes were absolutely clean. I had a similar experience with Guruji when he was residing in Empire East. That time we used to go sometimes in the evening, late evening, and from that Andheriya Mode to Empire Estate used to walk, and we were just running behind him, and he used to walk in his normal way. It is really, really very, unless you see that thing, you cannot understand that thing. Very, very, very fast. His action was very, very fast. Now reading from page 30, Guruji developed a very unusual kind of physical ailment. All the tests and scans were conducted in military base hospital by the doctor devotees of Guruji, but nothing could be found. One day, when Sudha aunty and Babar family arrived from Delhi as part of their regular visit to have regular darshan, they persuaded Guruji to move with them to Delhi. This is how Guruji came to Empire Estate in Sultanpur, New Delhi. Jai Guruji. Now back to Shilpa.
Jai Guruji. India in the 1700s was the largest economy in the world. I am not sure if many of us would have known that, contributing nearly 25% of the global GDP. This is read from page 34 of the book. And the first para reads, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the then Prime Minister of India, while addressing at the convocation of Delhi University in 1958, stated, "Here we stand in Delhi city, symbol of old India and the new. It is not the narrow lanes and houses of old Delhi, nor the wide spaces and rather pretentious buildings of New Delhi that count, but the spirit of this ancient city. Delhi has been an epitome of India's history with its succession of glory and disaster, with its great capacity to absorb many cultures and yet remain itself. It is a gem with many facets, some bright and some darkened by age, presenting the course of India's life and thought during the ages. We face the good and bad of India in Delhi city, which has been the grave of many empires and the nursery of a republic. What a tremendous story of hers. Here our history surrounds us at every step, and the procession of innumerable generations passes by before our eyes. Delhi houses the 3 World Heritage Sites, the Humayun's Tomb, the Red Fort, and the Qutub Minar, and has nearly 700 heritage buildings. And quoting from the book, they say, if you throw a stone in Delhi, there is every likelihood that it will hit a heritage site. Delhi also, for certain reasons, has been my favorite city, state in India. For our time with Guruji has been very special during our stay in Delhi. And the author in this chapter on pages 34 and 35 has very beautifully explained the history of Delhi and all the rulers and all the everything so beautifully. I'm sure you must read through it. And quoting from page 36, the splendor of Delhi is beautifully described by Mirza Ghalib. एक रोज अपनी रूह से पूछा कि दिल्ली क्या है, तो ये जवाब में कह गई, ये दुनिया मानो जिस्म है और दिल्ली उसकी जान है. One day I asked my soul, what was the city of Delhi? To which it replied, if the world were a body, then Delhi is its life. The British East India Company established their suzerainty in most of India after the Battle of 1757. New Delhi was built by the British in 1911. Delhi has witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the thunder of countless battles, and the anguish of bloodshed. Beneath its grand monuments and bustling streets lies a past heavy with trauma, a city that has endured centuries of conflict and conquest and still seeks healing through time, memory, and resilience. Guruji's move to Delhi became the foundation of many divine leelas that followed. It was in this space that countless seekers would find solace, strength, and transformation in Guruji's presence. As we reflect on this transition, we're reminded how every step Guruji took was a part of a greater plan, unfolding not just in places, but in hearts, lives, and generations. We've already gone through in the last couple of sessions about how Guruji moved pace from various cities and how these cities were important in every sense, in a spiritual sense, in the sense how Guruji had to recoup from all that he took from the Sangat, all of their illness, and the masses that he would want to bless and touch upon in the journey. Guruji used to say that, he used to often say that Delhi has not been visited by a Mahapurush ever. So, and he would say that he was here, he was there in Delhi to bless Delhi for the first time. After so many decades of no Mahapurush having a base in Delhi. So this epitomizes the love and compassion. And he was there to heal the civilizational wounds and the psyche of the city. Delhi needed his presence. So paraphrasing and recounting what he used to say, Delhi che kade Mahapurush aaye nahi. Delhi nu Mahapuruk di lod hai. Delhi needed the presence of a Mahapurush for healing. The people of Delhi needed healing. So Guruji moved to Delhi, and next I will hand over to Dr. Nibedita Sahu, how she will brief about how Guruji came to Delhi and his journey and our journey there with him also. We will touch upon that. So, Jai Guruji, over to Dr. Sahu.
1994 in Delhi. Towards the end of 1994, then Brigadier Mohan Singh got posted at Army headquarters in New Delhi. He was residing in the allotted quarters in the Army headquarters. Guruji has left Jalandhar with a couple of devotees unknown to the entire Sangat of Punjab and reached the residence of General Mohan Singh in New Delhi. After a couple of days of convalescing, he started meeting a limited number of people from the Sangat. As the days passed by, the number of devotees started increasing. Some devotee persuaded Guruji to have a place of his own where he would give darshan to the Sangat. So they persuaded a basement in S Block, Greater Kailas, and it was converted to a Sangat hall. Only 1 or 2 Shebadar were allowed to stay there. They were assigned the task of looking after the property, cleaning it and getting it ready for holding the Sangat in the evening. The institution of holding Sangat was the same as it was in the Jalandhar Mandir. The Sangat would be allowed to reach the Mandir around 6:30 p.m. Sabad was played from a music system. Chai Prasad and Langar Prasad would be served, and then most of the Sangat would leave after taking his permission or agya. With very few devotees left at the end, Guruji would have his small witty sessions and interactions and impromptu programs to some destination in Delhi or someone's house. Later, he shifted from General Mohan Singh's official residence to army mess in Dholakwa. During this period, large number of devotees from the NCR and other cities started visiting Guruji for his darshan and blessings. In the year 1995, Air Marshal Chopra, the then wing commander, was diagnosed as suffering from hepatitis B, a serious form of hepatitis and a complicated liver infection. The doctors in Army RR Hospital in New Delhi diagnosed that it was approaching a dangerous and chronic phase. Moreover, they found that there was no ready-made medicine for this kind of infection. So he advised by well-wishers to seek alternative system of medicine. Chopra tried all other medicines, but the infection was not subsiding. A wife of one of his seniors, a devotee of Guruji, suggested him to seek the blessings of Guruji. That time, Guruji was holding Sangat in the basement mandir in Greater Kailas. He went with senior's wife to Guruji's Sangat. When he paid his respect to Guruji, by usual bowing his head, Guruji uttered, Chopra tera kalyan kita. Chopra, you are blessed. Guruji was distributing Amrit and Chopra was given 8 glasses of it. In normal course, it would have been very difficult to drink that much of water. But Chopra, with full reverence, drank all the 8 glasses of water, that is about 2 liters. When langar was served, each person was given 1 thali, and each sangat was having 4 persons used to share, and each person would have been getting the 2 chapatis. Guruji came to Chopra and inquired how many chapatis he had eaten. Chopra had taken 2 chapatis given to him by the sangat and told the same count. Guruji himself got 1 more chapati and handing over to him said that he could eat it considering as prasad. When he finished his langar, Guruji told him that his infection had been cured. Nevertheless, he should go for a medical test to confirm. Chopra went for testing the very next day, and the results of the subsequent day showed his infection has been cured. That was the miraculous healing experienced by wing commander. After Sangat came to an abrupt end. But by 9 left the Sangat and asked Jagi Grewal to accompany him to the army mess in Dholakwa, where he was staying and picked up a few clothes and left for Punjab. After attending the last rites of his elder brother in Dugri, he left for Jalandhar. Moving forward, after nearly 2.5 years, Guruji came back to bless Delhi and the Sangat and was residing in Empire State. We had regular visit to Empire State and never asked anything from Guruji. What can we when he knows everything about us? During this time, we had a very good interaction with Major General Mohan Singh and Mrs. Singh, popularly known as Mamiji. We also visited their home on the Adesh of Guruji and got lot of spiritual insights about Guruji from Mamiji. This has been brilliantly depicted by the author in many instances in the book. Guruji used to say, my power is enough to heal you. Once you come near me, the healing begins. But unless I tell you to do something directly, you won't believe that you have been cured. Such is the nature of the human mind. My husband, SAHU Masterji, as Guruji would call him, was diagnosed with diabetes in 1995. Guruji took control of his condition without our knowledge. Even after having Kada Prasad in large quantity, the sugar level was always in control. The sugar level has been under control since then with normal medication, and it is all due to his blessings. I would like to share my own experience from the days when Guruji was in Empire State. I was diagnosed with ovarian cyst, and the doctors in Apollo Hospital, New Delhi, prescribed medicine for the condition. There was no improvement after taking the medication. Rather, the condition got worse. One evening, we missed attending the Sangat due to my ill health, and Guruji called Sahu Masterji on his office number to inquire about the same. To which he replied, Masi is not well. Guruji asked him to come to Empire State immediately and have Langar Prasad. After having Langar Prasad, Guruji gave these directions to be followed, and it was executed without any hesitation or doubt. The cyst problem subsided considerably and then disappeared entirely after a few days. I had voluntarily stopped taking medicines after Guruji had prescribed the remedy. At that time, we never had an idea. He knows everything that we don't say. He knows beyond our knowledge, beyond our thinking, everything, our past life, our present life, and also our future. Guruji sometimes cured diabetes with sweets and jalebis, cured ulcer also with hot spicy chutneys. By doing so, he used to test our faith. He would say, while following his path, there must not be no if and but. Absolutely no if and but. Guru Gobind दो खड़े काके लागू पाए, बलिहारी गुरु आपने गोविंद दिए बताए. There is no deity greater than the Guru, and no blessings higher than the Guru's grace. No state more elevated than meditation on the Guru. Guru Jai Guruji, Guruji ko lakh lakh shukrana for blessings all the Sangat and keeping us under his lotus feet. We offer our heartfelt thanks to the author for this divine contribution, to all those who made this satsang possible, the entire multilingual team for their unwavering dedication and flawless execution, and to each one of you for being part of this sacred gathering. Jai Guruji. Jai Guruji.
Jai Guruji, Sangat ji.
Rosy aunty, over to you.
So-
जय गुरुजी. You, शिल्पा आंटी, निवेदिता आंटी, आपने अपना रीडिंग फिनिश कर दिया है. जय गुरुजी.
Jai Guruji, Aunty, हमने finish कर दिया, but I was just seeing that if time permits, I'd just like to share some small experiences from our visits and our darshan and our time
हाँ
with
जी
Guruji.
आंटी. आंटी
So
थोड़ा ना इंटरनेट से क्लोज आ जाओगे आप दोनों ना थोड़ा डिसरप्ट हो रहे हो लाइक वी कांट हियर यू वेरी वेरी
okay,
क्लियरली ओके थैंक यू
okay,
जय
I'll
गुरु जी
try, Guruji aunty. I'll just try to be a little louder also. Uh, so also today's I would also like to thank everyone, and especially the multilingual team and all the Sangat and everybody who has been a part of this journey. And especially special thanks to Mosa, Dr. Chabilendra Raul, for compiling this beautiful book together. I remember so many months, years of him writing and sharing and discussing. And it's really a blessing for us, because when we started going to Guruji, when we first had his darshan, we were little kids. And I don't know if we had so much uh, awareness or insight into everything that was happening there. So Guruji has had his way of uh, you know uh, being with different people, just different age groups in their different way. So with us, when we were little kids in school, he would he was uh, he was in a different manner. Yet we would tremble whenever he would talk to us at times, and he would take us out, the entire Sangat, rather, like it was mentioned in the book also. When there were a few Sangat left after Guruji gave chutti to the maximum Sangat, he would take the Sangat out to places, somewhere to hotels, to some other Sangat's home, uh, out somewhere to celebrate something, or just every day was a celebration. So we never got to know, we never knew about such beautiful experiences and stories, and such satsangs of the Sangats that we would meet, because there in the mandir there was strict discipline. There was no socializing permitted, not before the Sangat satsang, before the satsang, before Guruji came to the darbar, not then, not after he gave chutti. There were strict instructions. After he gave chutti, we take his agya and move to our respective homes. And he would say, no going here and there, go back to your home, straight back to your home. So a lot of Sangat did not even know who was family. Uh, People who were a part of the family, they would not know if they did not come together for the satsang, for his darshan. If they were already sitting, people would not even realize, husband and wife and daughter, son, anybody, relatives. It was later than when we started interacting with people, except for a few select Sangat who were there after he gave chutti, we would know them. But otherwise, the other Sangat, we would not even know. And strict discipline, like I said, and we would be given prasad. We would sit through the satsang, listen to the Shabad, Gurbani, and Vyakhya Shabad, and pin drop silence. Nobody would talk, and sevadas would not talk amongst themselves. And after that, when langar was served, Sangat would share the plate, and there also there was pin drop silence. Nobody would interact. It was just a given thing that we would understand that there's chutney prasad and char roti prasad, or aat roti prasad if there are four sangha sharing the langar prasad, and it'll be divided in that ratio. So two each, or one each, and to take the chutney prasad on our roti prasad and smear it and have our langar, and the plates would be collected. We do not talk, we do not chit chat, and after the entire row is done, has finished their langar prasad, we would step out, wash our hands, have jal prasad outside, come back. No chit chatting, because if you are, then Guruji might also, just say it when you're back. And at chutti time, he might just say you're chit chatting. So
Gets annoyed.
yeah. So that, and there was strict discipline. And Guruji had this amazing fragrance, a fragrance of roses. When he would come into the darbar, we would be seated there, and when his door would open, when the room opens, that's when the fragrance flows into the room, blasts into the room in the hall. And people from, like, who were walking towards the mandir also would understand Guruji is there and we are late, so you'd be better on time for the satsang. And children were not allowed at that time, because
Very small.
yeah, very small children, distracting for the and
Even elderly people also, they were not allowed.
yes. And Guruji would say that if you're coming to the satsang, if one person from your family is coming to the satsang, I will bless your entire family, friends, your entire neighborhood. So you take blessings for everyone who cannot come here. And you have to keep your mind and heart open for that. Jai Guruji. Over to you, Rosy auntie, Pooja auntie.
Thank you.
Rosie aunty.
Thank you, Dr. Nibedita and Shilpa, for such a beautiful session. Thank you for taking us back in time and creating the entire picture of how Guruji, how the scenery was when we were there in Guruji's presence. It transported me back into those days, not that you ever forget those. Such beautiful days. And though the Guruji's presence is always with us. And I still, people would get that fragrance, his fragrance. I'm sure there is some Sangat Sangat still gets that. But in his presence, I absolutely agree with you how everybody would be shivering when he would come. There would be a lot of love, but strict discipline even after that. There was like a motherly love, I would say, जिसको ममता की तरह बोलते हैं ना, बहुत ममता थी उनके हर भाव में, जैसे वो सबसे interact करते थे. It was really, really beautiful. I remember going to the lake with him, and as you said, he used to glide over, and we were all much younger that time, in our early 20s. And one day me and my friend Bimi, we could walk with him, and he said, "Oh, tagdi hai tusi? Badi to badi tagdi hai." So we could match him for a little while. So badi tagdi hai kudi. So it was such beautiful days, such beautiful days. You were, as you rightly said, we were not allowed to take any offerings without his. Thank you for not only doing the book reading, but sharing so much from your experience. It makes us relive those moments and makes us even closer to Guruji. Sharing from your experience the other aspects of Guruji that we may not have known. And so happy to know the history of Delhi. It definitely needed healing, and I wish that healing would continue. With the world that is going through the turmoil right now, and we in it, and bringing back these memories, I'm sure this is so positive, and we can maybe celebrate this and share this positivity. So beautiful. Thank you so much. And I would like to call Dr. Kamini Tandon to please take this session forward. And Dr. Kamini Tandon, please. Thank you.
Dr. Kamini, you're not audible.
I'm so sorry. Can you hear me, Auntie, now?
Yeah, it's fine now. Jai Guruji.
Thank you to Guruji Maharaj, and thank you, Sangatji. Before I start with my part, I would just like to add briefly here that I came to Guruji Maharaj's Charan in 2019. So I've not been that fortunate to meet him in his physical form. But then Guruji has been really kind enough and made me realize through many experiences and darshans that this connection is beyond time. So thank you, Guruji. And I'm very humble today to be a part of this session. Thank Thank you, Roll Uncle, and thank you, Vasan Uncle. So I would like to start, first of all, by congratulating the author, Roll Uncle, for such a profound and soulful narration of Guruji's life. The title of the book is so apt. It just not only tells us about the essence of Guruji's life, but it also takes us deeply into the essence of spirituality. So any reader who wants to tread this path of spirituality, this book is offering timeless wisdom for them. So a must read. Having said that, I would now move on to the task assigned to me to critically evaluate and to provide insights into what all has been read today. Thank you, Shilpa Aunty, and thank you, Dr. NIBEDITA SAHU. You've already done the major task, the major part, and sharing your own satsangs with us, you've made it more vivid for the entire people listening here. So I would summarize my thoughts mainly in 4 points, and then I would take these points one by one. So I'll list the points first. The reading can be summarized into 4 main points: timeless values divinely lived, Guruji's arrival as divine intervention, transformation through grace, and lastly, freedom through detachment. So I'll take these points one by one. First point is timeless values divinely lived. Sangatji, on page 30, the very first paragraph states that how Guruji used to cure the physical ailments of the Sangat and then consequently suffer an impact on his body. Here I would like to quote what I've heard from satsangs of old Sangat. जो सेवादार गुरुजी के साथ रहते थे, उनके सत्संग में मैंने सुना है कि जब वो गुरुजी को सफर करते हुए देखते थे, तो they used to ask गुरुजी कि गुरुजी आप संगत की सफरिंग मत लीजिए. And then Guruji very lovingly used to reply कि संगत के दुख और तकलीफें तो मेरी खुराक हैं. So I think we should be eternally grateful to Guruji Maharaj for blessing his Sangat always. हमें ऐसे गुरु नहीं मिल सकते हैं जो हमारी दुख तकलीफें लेकर इतना सफर करके he wants to see us happy. So it is only due to his benevolence, mercy, love, and compassion for his Sangat that he dissolves our karmas so that we all can live a happy life. Sangatji, as Guruji Maharaj is a practical guru. I will not refer him to as was, because for me, I've connected to him in his Nirakar Rup. So Guruji Maharaj is a practical guru, and when in his physical form, he never gave any sermons or preachings. Some important underlying lessons which the Sangat can take away here are that of, firstly, empathy. Second is service to others. And lastly is sacrifice. Very simple values that we have grown up hearing, yet often struggle to imbibe in our daily life. But Guruji, being the divinity himself, he truly enshrined them in every fabric of his being. So, Anantam Shukrana, Guruji, for blessing us by taking us in your Charan. And may we all try and imbibe these values so that we can be of some service to humanity. Second point is transformation through grace. Sangatji, I would now like to draw your attention to para 2 of page 30. I would like to read these few lines once again to emphasize the importance of Guruji's essence and why he came. Guruji used to say that very few come to a Mahapurush for the real thing, spiritual seeking. Despite their intentions, Guruji would bless them. He used to say that his purpose of coming to this world was to shower blessings and through that nudge them gradually towards the spiritual path. Even if 1% of those who get the blessings strive to adopt a spiritual journey, he would be a satisfied person. Very, very important paragraph, very beautifully written by Roll Uncle, and it captures the essence of Guruji's presence in our life. So I believe Roll Uncle has beautifully captured Guruji's divine purpose in coming to earth, not just to bless his Sangat, but to awaken the souls, to deepen their connection with the divine, and to lead them gradually and gently towards spiritual growth and transformation. Sangatji, as Shilpa Aunty and already told, that most of us, when we first come to Guruji Maharaj, we are struggling under the burden of worldly troubles, totally unaware that in reality we are being guided by the higher will of God Himself. ये दुख तकलीफें सारी एक बहाना बन जाती हैं जो हमें गुरुजी के दर तक ले आती हैं। बाद में आकर, बहुत बाद में आकर समझ में आता है, और फिर हम उन दुख तकलीफों का भी शुक्राना करते हैं कि गुरुजी, because of these problems you called us to your darbar. So Anantam Shukrana Guruji Maharaj. Thirdly, the point I would like to mention here is Guruji's arrival as divine intervention. Here the author has beautifully woven together threads of history to build a compelling case for the divine intervention of Mahashiv himself in the sacred avatar of Guruji Maharaj. In the previous sessions, as Abhi Sandhu Aunty also told, there was a discussion about the peaceful history of Malerkotla, reflecting communal harmony. This stands in stark contrast to the darker history of Delhi, especially when we look at the bloodshed and the mindless quests for ambition and power. Now, when we delve a little deeper into this, there's a profound insight which is uncovered here, that it's not just the souls which need healing, but non-human things like places also need healing. And also connected to this healing of non-human things is an essential point that at the end of the day, at the most fundamental level, everything has an energy component to it. And we, as humans, we are constantly under the influence of the environment in which we live. So that explains the communal harmony in Malerkotla and the unrest in Delhi. Hence, Guruji's coming to Delhi and constructing Bade Mandir can absolutely be seen as a conscious act of compassion and healing of a city long burdened by the historical wounds. Sangati, I would like to add here that again I've heard from satsangs only that Guruji used to say ki Sangat ko ki aande rya karo. So in saying so, I believe he wants us, obviously he wants to bless the Sangat, but it's also calling for the soul to return again and again to the space where our restless minds quieten and we could find peace. This realization does not come all at once. Initially, when we go, we come, we go, and we might not see any changes around us. But it's only when we take a pause and we start to introspect, we slow down, we quieten the noise both inside and outside, then we realize that how we are changing as an individual, more humble, more grateful, and more aware, slowly becoming the vessels worthy of receiving His divine grace. And lastly, my takeaway from the chapter today is freedom through detachment. Sangaji, on page 30, the last line of the first paragraph states that yogis have no permanent place of residence, for the world is their abode. Here also, Raul uncle has mentioned that Guruji used to change his base to different locations for two reasons. He could recoup physically and spiritually, and also to bless a large number of suffering people at different places. Another core spiritual principle that can be uncovered, that lies underneath this movement is, I believe, is of detachment. The idea is not to reject the world, but simply do not cling to it. So Guruji never got attached to places, and it was not about places only, it was about possessions also. Again, I've heard from the satsangs of the old Sangat only that Guruji used to be so benevolent and kind and magnanimous that he used to give away his juttis, his cholas and the whatever expensive gifts the Sangat used to bring for him among the Sangat only. So a very important lesson for us. And Guruji always, again, he was also a Rasik Bairagi Guru. He basically wants us to live in this world, enjoying the pleasures and the possessions, but not to be owned by them. So, ये हमारे लिए एक बहुत important learning है. And detachment in this sense is not deprivation, but true freedom, which Guruji wants us for all his Sangat. So that's it from my side from today's reading. Over to you, Royal Uncle.
I'm here not to give any kind of interpretation, which I have already written in the book. So, if the esteemed Sangat, anybody has any queries regarding this chapter, then I would like to clarify as per my understanding. So, I'm grateful that it is a beautiful session, and SHILPA and Dr. NIBEDITA SAHU and KAMINI aunty, all of them have done justice to the session and also Guruji. So I leave it to the esteemed Sangat. Anybody wants to any clarification or any query that I would like to clarify or answer.
जय गुरु जी संगत जी, किसी को कोई भी क्वेश्चन कुछ पूछना है तो प्लीज हैंड रेज कर दीजिए. अंकल विल clarify your questions and answers. Jai Guruji Maharaj.
Uncle, if you could add something more on Guruji's coming to Delhi, the initial GK Mandir days. There is very little that we know about Guruji in GK Mandir days. So what was the time like when he moved from Punjab and he came to Delhi in the initial days?
I think to be specific, he came in November 1997 to Delhi. The time he was having a little physical suffering in Sector 33 Chandigarh, and temporarily he shifted to some house in Sector 21 also. That is the time Sudha aunty and Babar uncle, they visited Guruji as part of their usual regular visits. So when they found Guruji in that state, then they persuaded Guruji, now it is enough. You have taken the pains of the Sangat to yourself, and you need a little bit of respite from this. So Guruji ultimately agreed. So November 1997, he moved along with Sudha aunty to Empire State. But it was not known neither to the Sangat of Chandigarh, Panchkula or Jalandhar. Very few people, not many people knew. It was like Guru's usual method. When he moves to a new place, it is not known to the Sangat in the place where he was staying. So, and that was the reason it has a hidden reason also, because he wants to recoup from spiritually and physically from the pains he has taken. And if again there will be large stream of people or Sangat coming for his blessings, again that is back to square one. So that is the reason it was generally kept secret for some time. So he remained there. Then he recovered from the kind of physical, you can say, tiredness or ailment. And it was no treatment, nothing. He never moved to any hospital or not took any kind of medication. It was just plain relaxing. But as usual, Guruji is fond of the Sangat. He would call some Sangat even during those days. So limited Sangat will come. That time in Sudhante's house in Empire State, he would be in the upstairs, and he will meet people in that upstairs drawing room. So gradually, this message also sometimes spread some people that Guruji has now come to Delhi and staying in Empire State, because he had a large number of followings when he was in Greater Kailash. So the pressure obviously was building up for Guruji to open the place for the general Sangat. So it started towards, I think, around March, April 1998, when it was opened for institutionalized Sangha. That means in the afternoon, late afternoon, around 6:30 p.m., he will allow the Sangat to come. And it usually goes till late night.
Thank you, Uncle.
So,
शिल्पा और निवेदिता आंटी, आप कुछ पूछना चाहोगे? एनीथिंग यू वुड लाइक टू इंटरेक्ट विद अंकल? जय गुरु जी, आप हैं?
We always used to have discussions whenever we sit in our house or we visit Delhi, always about Guruji's satsang only. Because Guruji used to have so much of love, that is unconditional love. Even if you don't have any, don't ask anything also, he will bless you. And he will bless you, he will not mention it also. In my case also, that when I had the cyst, I didn't know ki Guruji was having that power, healing power. Just he mentioned ki, why didn't you come that day? So my husband told ki, see, Masi was not well. But Guruji, out of love and compassion for me, without asking also, he called him immediately, and he was that time posted in Udyog Bhavan. He directly went to Empire State. Without Guruji, if anybody would have been there, he would not have gone there. But immediately he went, and in the evening he told me, Guruji called me this daytime. I went, and he told me like this, and I did. Then of my own, I stopped taking medicine. And I never asked him also, should I stop medicine? But oh, that feeling who gave me? Guruji only gave me that, because I didn't have proper knowledge that time. What is his form? Because इतना प्यार वो देते थे ना, you don't think about कि भगवान इतना पास में आके इतना प्यार देते हैं, and you cannot realize कि his real Sivji's form. And in my life also, I never told him that Guruji, I was this thing, you have cured me. And he never told me also, Ki Masi, I have cured you of this disease. You know, these are the things, from this I can know कि इतना प्यार करते थे वो, इतना without any this mercy and devotion. So we didn't have that much of devotion. Sometimes I feel also bad ki without we could not have so much devotion also, because as whatever he used to, so only he was showing that. Itna discipline, everything we learned it from him only. That also indirectly, not directly. He never used to tell, follow this, not very rigid also. Sangat can ask anything if they want.
Raul uncle, would you like to say anything also to this? Any reply? Jai Guruji?
Jai Guruji, I think the session was quite good, and it is because it is the first chapter. It was the life journey of Guruji. It is not. I can say this chapter is the one of the easiest chapters as per as people, they give their feedback to me. It is not that because I have written the book, that's why I will say it. But nevertheless, I now realize that the analysts, they have come out with beautifully the essence of this chapter, why Guruji shifts places. So intentionally or unintentionally, though it has been written, I don't know how all those things have been written also. It is Guruji's blessing always. And people have now brought out them directly, the reasons, it was summarized today, that he needs a little bit of space and time to recoup himself physically and spiritually when he takes the pain of the Sangat to cure them and solve their problems. Secondly, he needs also bless a new set of people, not that he will get attached to the old Sangat and old place. That is the third reason. Now it was brought out that he was like a Rasik Bairagi. He will never get attached to a place or Sangat. And it has been amply demonstrated. Even the Sangat who claim or who themselves they feel that they are quite close to Guruji, next day you will find Guruji has told them, don't come. And for years together, they will not be allowed to come to Guruji Sangat. So that is the way he was inculcating the value of detachment, even detached from the physical presence of Guruji. Guruji was also making us to realize that yes, I will not be physically there all the time to come, and you should not get attached to my physical presence. Get the essence of what Guru says, and you inculcate those things in your daily life. So it has been beautiful brought out today. And in the previous sessions, the analysts, they have also said that if Guruji goes to a place, meets people, and some events took place, all these have some kind of connection with the divine purpose for which Guruji has come to this world. That means time, place, and events, they have the cosmic connection. This has been beautifully told, one of the previous analysts. I like this. Though it has not been intentionally or directly put in the book, it has been brought out by the analysts. So I am thankful to the analysts and the readers who have gone through the book. They have added value to the book by putting their own interpretation and adding something, adding in depth some kind of analysis. Thank you, Guruji.
Jai Guruji, Rosy, Sandhu, Aunty Ji, would you like to say something? One last thing before we end the session.
I would just like to say thank you. Thank you to Raul uncle for especially accepting the request of adding. So there are some things which are not part of the book, and he has added them now from his vast knowledge of Guruji. So we've learned a little more. And also, I definitely, as Dr. Tandon was saying, that Guruji is beyond time. I totally agree. It is not that the Sangat who met Guruji in his physical form. As Raul uncle also put it, that it is not detachment. He would send people away who thought they were close to him. So Guruji is beyond space and time. The Sangat who joined later when he was not in his physical form, may are as blessed. For him, everybody is the same. So he may not be with us in physical form, but he's always with us to bless us in everything that we do. And also, I would also like to thank Dr. Nibedita for taking out the human side of, again, now talking about the human side of Guruji, which sometimes made us forget that he's Guruji, for his the importance of that he's the way we revered him. We kind of considered him as a human being. We forgot that he's much beyond that. That was his Leela, that how he played with all of us around with his human side. He would talk the way he would talk as a friend, as a guide. He would talk to people. And I would also like to thank Dr. Tandon for so beautifully summarizing and giving her, and putting in points, explaining in detail about the chapters that have the portion that has been read so far. And especially regarding the healing of the cities and the other inanimate things, the way she described it, it really kind of made a lot of sense and added up all to this. And the Rasik Vairagi part also as a teaching to all of us that we should live in the world. सब रस भोगो दुनिया के लेकिन किसी से अटैच नहीं हो तो this was detachment and still being in the world, enjoying all the bounties of the world and still being detached. So as the Raul uncle has written this book so beautifully, however, catching the Guru, putting it in one sense may not be, he is multifaceted. So all these, everybody is adding on to it, as Raul uncle has put in. Some beautiful gems are being added to it. Thank you so much. And thank you to the Multilingual Society for arranging this. It is such a beautiful journey and a beautiful initiative. And, when I started this, I did not realize how beautiful it would be. The book by itself is this, but these sessions are adding on to it. So Anantam Shukrana to Guruji for giving this guidance to everybody, for writing the book, for arranging this, for people to come forward. Without his blessings, nothing is possible. So, Jai Guruji, Anantam Shukrana Guruji. Apni sharan mein rakho Guruji. Thank you.
जय गुरु जी। राहुल अंकल, फाइनल कुछ रिमार्क्स आपकी तरफ से? आप कैमरा ऑन कर लीजिए। जय गुरु जी। राहुल अंकल, आप हैं? Are you
Yeah.
there? Yes. Would you like to say something for whatever Rosy Sandhu auntie? She is the one who's taking care of the session. Jai Guruji.
I think today nothing more to add. So let us wait for the subsequent sessions. So if again anybody has any queries or clarifications, I am here.
संगत जी, अगर कोई भी है जो हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं, जो कोई भी, if you have any question, any queries for uncle, please raise your hand. Jai Guruji Maharaj, Shukrana Guruji. If there are no questions, uncle and auntie, Shukrana Guruji Maharaj multilingual groups की तरफ से हम लोग आप सबका बहुत बहुत थैंक यू बोलते हैं. थैंक यू राहुल अंकल, थैंक यू रोजी संधू आंटी, थैंक यू डॉक्टर शिल्पा, डॉक्टर निवेदिता, थैंक यू डॉक्टर कामिनी टंडन, थैंक यू एवरीबॉडी जो शुक्राना मल्टीलिंगुअल ग्रुप जो बहुत अपने दिल से ये सेवा करता है, उन सबका थैंक यू सुरेश अंकल फॉर मेकिंग ऑल दिस हैपन. गुरुजी महाराज ब्लेस एवरीबॉडी. थैंक यू, शुक्राना, अनंतम शुक्राना. अब हम आज्ञा लेंगे